What is up, y'all? Back here, another video. I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus with the post for the past 3 or 4 days, but we are back. I promise you guys. We will be talking about who will possibly dethrone Jey Uso. Now, these are just my opinions. If you have your own opinions, drop them down in the comments below. And this is me being realistic here. I'm not really going to say anything out of the ordinary like a Akira Tozawa or anything like that. But these are realistically people I think that will dethrone Jey. Let's get right into this. Starting off, we'll go number one. Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, he was a great Intercontinental Champion. He was a defending champion at that. And he's also with the likes of Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman, who has breaded former world champions, the likes of Brock Lesnar, Rob Van Dam, Punk. He really has breaded, world champions. And with the likes of Paul Heyman, I think Braun can become a world champion as well. And then you add Seth Rollins, who is a multiple-time world champion. He also held the world title on Raw for about a year and a half until he ultimately lost it to Drew McIntyre. And with that being at his arsenal in this faction, I really do think that Braun Breaker could be the one to dethrone Jey. Now, he did dethrone Jey's Intercontinental Championship run when literally Jey won it, 2 weeks prior from Braun Breaker. He took it back. Now, that was with the likes of Solo Sikoa and Fatu all getting involved. But Braun Breaker is in the main event scene now, and I think we're going to start to see him in that main event scene a lot more now that he's with a Seth Rollins and a Paul Heyman. We will start to see him in the main event a lot more. And he is realistically someone I feel like can dethrone Jey if given the right opportunities and the right circumstance. Number two, Gunther. We know Gunther has had his more ups than downs with Jey. Now, if you want to say he's had more downs because he's lost to Jey at WrestleMania and Jey's only lost to him on Raw and Saturday Night Live and those types of small events, then you might have a case, right? You might have a case. But here's my thing with Gunther. Gunther, I don't think he can go back to the mid-card scene. There's no way they put the Intercontinental Championship on him again after his historic reign. I think you leave that alone. And I think Gunther, sad to say, but Gunther, I would like him to have the world title again. Because it just kind of feels weird without Gunther having a world title around his waist. Or some form of a title. It's just weird. Ever since he was in NXT UK, he had the UK Championship. He had the NXT Championship. He comes over to Monday Night Raw. He's Intercontinental Champion. He loses the Intercontinental Championship. He wins the World Heavyweight Championship. It's just weird not seeing Gunther with a world title, and 80% of his career has been with championships. That's where I'm really falling, with this whole Gunther thing. So Gunther realistically could be one of the ones that beats Jey because he has a winning record against Jey. And Jey also, I look at Jey as a transitional champion. I don't look at him as somebody that's going to hold the title for 5 or 6 months. I think eventually people are going to want the title off of him. And maybe that comes here in the next month or two. So Gunther, he's top 2 on this list along with Braun. And I think Braun Breaker tops the list because he's a lot younger and he just got boosted into the main event scene. So they need to really, hop on that. But Gunther's been in the main event scene, and I just don't know how you put those two in a main event scene, Number 3. And this is a pick, right, where I'm only going with him because of the feud currently. only because of the feud currently is why I'm putting this guy on this list. Now, he might be a little too high, but let me explain. Logan Paul. Reason why I say Logan Paul is because he wants to dedicate himself to being a full-time wrestler. I really don't understand this whole full-time wrestler thing, because this was supposed to be John Cena's last year as a full-time wrestler, and I still feel like he's being part-time right now and only showing up to the major cities and the major events. But my thing is, I really do think that Logan Paul could possibly pull off a world championship win. I think he really could. I think he could pull off like a heist or something of that nature to propel himself into that world championship opportunities. Now, he already has a world championship opportunity at Saturday Night Live. That's enough being said. But him being in that mid-card scene, I could see him getting boosted back down to mid-card because I really don't see them using Logan Paul as a world champion. But he's on this list because he already has the feud with Jay. He's already going after the world title. What's stopping him from continuing to go to that world title scene? Because he was already United States champion for, a year? I think he needs to be in these world championship matches. And maybe we do like the Jey Uso route, where Jay lost so many world title opportunities and then he finally got his. I think that Logan Paul might be a person where we're not going to feel sympathetic for him for losing, because I don't think a lot of people like Logan Paul. But it would make it so much better as being the heel that he is. He loses and loses and loses and loses. Then he finally pulls it off. He finally does. And that's why he's up on this list. Because they could go to Jey Uso route with him, and nobody, would feel sympathetic for him. But then as soon as he wins, because he'll lose multiple times and people will be like, yeah, no Logan Paul. That's great. And then as soon as he wins, they go, oh my God, he did not just do that. So that's why Logan Paul is on this list. Okay. Number 4, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, like I said earlier when I was describing my Braun Breaker pick, Seth Rollins is a guy that has done it time and time again. Successful Money in the Bank cash in for a world title, defended his world title successfully, and before he lost his world title to Drew McIntyre, he was the inaugural world champion because they gave everybody something to fight for on Raw because Reigns had all the titles at the time. Understandable. But Rollins has been there, done that, and he will definitely be there again. I don't know if it's anytime this year or anytime soon. And do I think he needs a world title? No. I do not think he needs a world title to stay relevant. I feel like Seth could be relevant without a world title, and we've seen it, since he lost the belt to Drew. The feud with CM Punk, the feud that he has now with CM Punk, Jay, Sammy, and Roman, which we haven't seen Roman in some time, so I'm wondering when Roman's going to play a part in all of this. I really do think, though, Seth could pull it off again. He really could. He could pull it off again, and I don't know how you would do it, how you would book him winning again, because Braun Breaker should be the one with the world title in that faction. Now, if they want to go the tag team route first, and I wouldn't mind seeing Seth and Braun elevate into the tag team part, right? But Seth, my bad, y'all. Seth can definitely get back into that world title scene. And like I said, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you go about it again. But the faction he's in, they need titles to take this faction seriously. They can't just be a faction with no titles. DX had titles. The League of Nations had titles. The New Day, their faction, even though they consider themselves tag team, there's more than 2 of them, so they're a faction. They had tag team championships. They had championships, outside of the tag team titles. You take the Bloodline. They had the world title and the tag team titles. You take the Shield, they had tag team titles and United States titles. You need championships to make your faction really stand out. And whether that be the tag team champions or, for the sake of this video, the world championships. And Seth Rollins is somebody that is capable of doing it, and he definitely can do it. Especially, like I said, with Paul Heyman, who has brewed world champions time and time and time again throughout his, 20, 30, 40-year tenure of doing this business. So, Seth Rollins is right there. Number 5. This is going to get you guys. AJ Styles. One of the best wrestlers in the world, right behind Kurt Angle, in my opinion. I honestly think AJ Styles is going to have one last world title run before he is all said and done. So, in less than 2 years, I feel like they put the belt on him, whether it's for 2-3 months. I don't care. AJ Styles, he was the face that ran the place in 2016 when he was world champion. And he's also been a guy that if you put him in the main event scene, he can definitely carry. He's like a Seth Rollins where he can put on a banger and a banger of a match. And we've seen with the likes of Seth and Jay on Monday that they can definitely, make Jay look a lot better with somebody with in-ring ability. And AJ Styles and Seth Rollins are hand in hand when it comes to in-ring ability. AJ Styles could really beat Jay. Or, I don't know how he gets into the world title picture with all this going on already. But I really do think that if AJ Styles was somehow into this feud, AJ Styles would be able to dethrone Jey Uso. Because he's done it, been there before, completely understand it. He's not a part of the feud, but he can definitely do it. Next up, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has yet to win a world title in WWE. Now, whether he turns heel and does it, whether he stays a face and does it, that's a completely different story. But he has not won a world championship yet. Just like Jay before WrestleMania had never won a world championship. He had won the Intercontinental Championship, and he's a multiple-time tag team champion. Sami Zayn, tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, but never world champion. And I think that Sami Zayn could have his moment. Because the last few years, we've had the finish the story type of years. Jay finished his story at Mania. Cody finished his story at Mania. Is it next for Sami Zayn? Now, I'm not saying Sami Zayn's going to win the Royal Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania. I don't think that's how that's going to go. I think next year's WrestleMania, we're going to have a younger winner, obviously. But I really do think Sami Zayn could beat Jay if he was to turn heel on Jay throughout this whole feud. I think he could possibly beat him. But I think that Sami Zayn could dethrone Jay if you put him in the right predicaments. And to top this list off, to top it all off, this is, and I'm throwing you guys in for a loop here, okay? But hear me out. Actually, I'll do a couple more for you guys. We are going to go with Jimmy Uso. Now, I'm not saying this just because I'm more of a Jimmy fan than I am a Jay fan. Oh, no. Reason why I'm saying this is because Jimmy Uso laid his body on the line for his brother to win that world title. He shed blood and went out there and got dismantled in front of the whole entire world just so his brother would win the world title. You could do a storyline where Jimmy's like, hey, I want to be world champion now. And we all know Cena, he ain't giving that up anytime soon. I don't think Cena's dropping the title to maybe either SummerSlam or sometime in October and November. But Jimmy put his body on the line for Jay in order for Jay to awaken himself to be able to beat Gunther. So, I feel like Jimmy Uso could do it because then they could both, be world champions. Now, Jimmy, I thought it was going to be Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight, and I thought they were both going to become champions that night. But no, that didn't happen. Instead, he went out there, laid his body on the line for Jay to be able to win. So therefore, I think, honestly, Jimmy might have a shot. I honestly do. And this is going to end off my list, right? Honorable mentions, because we have Money in the Bank coming up. Carmelo Hayes. I know he's on SmackDown, but young rising star. He just won the Andre the Giant Memorial. Do they let him win the Money in the Bank? I don't think they give him 2 accomplishments in 1 year. But I think it's possible. Carmelo Hayes is one of my picks to win Money in the Bank this year. I think, honestly, he could pull it off. I think we are going to have a young Money in the Bank winner. Also, LA Knight. I know he's not young, but he could also possibly qualify for the Money in the Bank match, and he could also cash in. LA Knight has been in the mid-card scene for some time after losing to Roman Reigns and not getting a world title, shot since then. But he's been in the mid-card scene. He's been chasing the U.S. title for 2 years now. About time we put LA Knight in that main event scene where he's not just beefing with Drew and Priest and Fatu. That's Fatu's division now. It was yours and Logan Paul's for a while, but now he needs to be in that main event scene. So he needs a world title as well. Also, Karrion Kross. I am one of those people that wants Karrion Kross to get the push of a lifetime. Karrion Kross has also been known to show people the darker sides of himself. Look at the New Day. He's been the devil on people's shoulders for some time now. And I think Karrion Kross, with all this push Karrion Kross noise, I think that they will actually push him and he could possibly dethrone Jay. Who knows? Also, want to throw this out here. Let's just hypothetically say, for all my Finn Balor fans out there, Finn Balor ends up somehow, some way getting himself a world title shot. I think they pull the trigger there. If it's Finn against Jay in any scenario, I think Finn takes the win here. Now, like I said, they're obviously in 2 different, feuds right now, 2 different storylines. But I feel like if you give Finn Balor the opportunity, let's say he just randomly talks to Adam Pearce and Pearce sets it up, whatsoever, so that they could bring a world championship to Judgment Day. I could see him possibly winning a world title and then Judgment Day kicking him out because they feel like he's going to be like a Damian or a Rhea. So, just throwing that out there. But those were my honorable mentions. Some of them were because, hey, they were my favorites. But let me know who y'all think is going to dethrone Jay. And I will see you guys in the next one. I am out. So like, comment, subscribe if you are new here. And I will see you guys.